Okay.
Mary, we've had you on before. It was a wonderful show. It's sweet and it's sad at the same time, because here we are helping somebody who really is a lovely young girl. But the reality is we have a disease that's so rare, that so few people know about it, that the job here is not only to help her, but to help others.
Exactly.
And in that vein of helping others, you wrote a book. And the book is called Kelsey Hates the Needle. So let's talk a little bit about that. Tell me a little bit about the situation. Talk to me about the inspiration for the book.
The inspiration for the book was Kelsey, of course. Her management is an injection. It was Enbrel, Humira. Now she's on Simponi. And before she gets the injection, she has anxiety. The needle hurts. She screams. It's a horrifying experience for a child that has to get an injectable. So again, I said, what can I do to help Kelsey? So I thought, let me write a children's book to try to explain to her how the needle will help her. And that was the inspiration. Kelsey in the book represents all children who need injectable, not just for her disease, but for diabetes or rheumatoid arthritis, other diseases as well.
Let's take another step back. Tell the folks again what this is all about, this disease that so few people know about and fewer people even have.
Her disease is called, it's a DADA2 gene deficiency with a polyarteritis nodosa manifestation, and it affects the blood vessels, and it causes strokes and organ failure. And so the book is designed to help children cope with getting an injection. Mm-hmm. It's a story, and the analogy we used was the morning glory, the flowers, and Crystal can tell you about her illustrations.
During these times where she had to get the needle and how hard that was for her, I can't even imagine. But my aunt had come to me because I could draw, and she said, I have this idea that I really want to bring to life. And I did my best to illustrate matching the words. You know, it's beautiful. The color purple represents her foundation. The morning glory was perfect, and yeah, we
now,
put it together.
Has the book accomplished what you've set out to do so far?
Yes, it has. We've only been out there a few weeks. It's personal for Kelsey because Kelsey, a few months ago, had an outbreak where the medicine stopped working and she developed lesions all over her body. And the children at school didn't understand, and they were making fun of her. They were asking her if she was contagious, and she had a hard time with that.
Right.
So when the book came out, I gave Kelsey a copy, and she brought it to school, and her teacher read it to the class. And it actually helped the other children as well to understand what she was going through a little bit. I mean, they're 8 years old,
right.
But the book has helped.
This particular book has helped someone else in other parts of the country.
Yes,
Tell
a
me
little
about
girl
that.
named Rosie Quinn. She has her own foundation called Coming Up Rosies, and she suffers from alopecia, which is also another disease that isn't curable. So her mission is to basically put a smile on all kids' faces. And one of the things she's afraid of is needles. So she came across the book, and it's been such a great response from her. It's really helped her. You guys will see her out there talking about it, and it's really cute too because they're both 8 years old, so they can relate to one another and just
That's fantastic. Now, how can
together.
people get a copy of this book? Because obviously it's in print.
Right now, the book is available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, and you can also go to our website, www.newviewforpan.org, and the links are there for the websites, and you can order it. It will be on, what, future?
Google, iTunes, a digital
E-books.
download as well if you don't want to purchase like a hard copy. But yeah.
How is she doing, and how are the people around her doing?
Well, again, it's an incurable disease, so it's one day at a time. They're managing the disease, but the point of the book was another avenue to raise money for the research,
Right.
for the eventual gene replacement. I'm trying to think outside the box because I have fundraisers, but that's not enough. So the proceeds that Crystal and I receive go directly into the charity. We do not make a dime off of the book.
Now,
Yes.
when you were on the show last time, we talked about some doctors in Baltimore. And maybe you can talk a little bit about some of the doctors and some of the people who are here that are sharing the solutions and sharing the grief and sharing the hope that you have for this.
The last time I was here, I was going to Bethesda, Maryland for the conference.
Right.
it was a huge success. There were doctors from all over the world, researchers from all over the world. They're making great strides in the gene replacement therapy. They're about, they say 5 to 10 years out for this, which would be a cure. So the more money we raise, the shorter the time for the cure. So that's the goal. That is the goal.
That's excellent. That's excellent. So we have to think of lots of ideas.
Exactly,
Get
and
money
we
flowing
need
in.
to think outside the box. So fundraisers are great. I'm having another fundraiser in November. This time I'm having a comedy show. I've hired comedians. They perform in Atlantic City, New York. They've been on television.
So now let's talk a little bit about the hashtag kids. What's that all about?
We are launching a new kids clothing brand that I'm partnered with and designed some of the clothing that you'll see. We should be launching soon, I would say in the next few weeks or so. But part of that, through our sales, we will be giving back to Kelsey's Kaleidoscope, her foundation.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. So we have lots of effort here, and that's what it's
Yes,
all
we
about.
do.
I think it's amazing that Anthony Urso is so generous, the owner as well, or partner with me in this clothing line. And yeah, we want to give as much as we can back to charity through the sales of the clothing. So.
And I do want to mention about Anthony Urso. He was so generous last year. He did a pop-up store in Chicago and donated all of the profits that night to Kelsey's Kaleidoscope.
Yeah.
Now, we wanted to talk a little about the hospitals. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, so we're working to do some book readings locally here in Philadelphia and in Chicago. We think it's really important to actually reach the children who are sick that are getting needles every single day. So we really hope that this book fills a void out there, you know, to help comfort them of what the challenges that they may face with the diseases that they have. So far, we've had tremendous feedback on social media, people commenting, saying that it's helped their children already, as well as children that are healthy, just getting regular annual shots as
Right,
well. And
right.
anyone really that has a fear of needles that this book can help with is
Some older people, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, tell me a little bit more about the goal of this book and the goal of other books you said you might be considering.
Yes.
Well, the goal of this book is to raise money, of course, for Kelsey's Kaleidoscope, the nonprofit that I have. But the goal is also to reach other children to help them cope with getting the needle.
Right.
I mean, we did an analogy to flowers, which is a good analogy because flowers need water and nutrients. And these are the illustrations just pop off the page, and they explain to the child the significance of a flower getting water, so a child needs the needle to manage their disease.
Yeah,
And- right.
absolutely. The flower becomes healthy again and beautiful, and so it gives them confidence and the courage to take on what they have to face in reality.
How many other people live with this problem?
There are approximately maybe 1,000 children worldwide
With her specific.
with her specific
yeah.
disease, yes. But again, I met a woman whose son suffers from juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. He's 17 years old. She told me he is still afraid of the needle.
Right.
So the book is
Traumatizing. Yeah.
for all types of diseases
Fears
that
and
require
anxieties.
injectable
Yeah.
medication.
Right,
Exactly.
Right.
Our plan for future books, for the next one, would be to cover a variety of different people, like whether they need an EpiPen for if they
Right.
have allergies,
Right.
and maybe the siblings that need to cope with this as well, because Kelsey has a older brother who, you know, it could be challenging for him too sometimes, just seeing his little sister sick, but you know, I can't imagine the effects that it has on the whole family. So.
So it affects the whole family.
Right.
And no one understands that unless they live it. Crystal and I are also going to do a book reading and signing on August the 8th at Barnes & Noble in Deptford, New Jersey.
At 10:30.
At
right?
10:30 a.m.
Yep.
If there's any anxiety that we can reduce, this is the kind of stuff that's really great.
Exactly.
And we really hope that everybody out there buys this book, share it with your kids, your grandkids, take it to school, give it to friends who can take it to school. There's nothing wrong with this book. It's a beautiful thing, and it only helps people. We are here to support you too.
Thank
So you're welcome anytime, and please tell Kelsey we love her and we want her to know that she's going to get better, and we're going to beat this thing.
We will. Thank you so much,
All right.
Scott. Thank
So
you.
thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for Mary and for Crystal.